Me and Ann have made it to Pier 55. We're gonna go do a tour of the harbor. Let you guys see where we're at. They got a lot of different little shops down here. This is one of the things that you can get with the city pass when you come to Seattle. Get your city pass and you can do one of these. So this is Pier 55. So yep, this is Pier 55 in Seattle, Washington.
I like the smaller.
See, here's the information for the city pass right here.
It's the largest of our fleet. 125 feet in. There are 3 levels and 9 bathrooms on board. The first level is completely enclosed. On the second deck, you'll find a large seating area as well as an outdoor space.
All right, we are boarding for the harbor cruise. Hey, how are we all going to sit on the beaver? It doesn't look like the brochure.
So if you can't find a seat on that boat, you got a problem, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it might not be cold. Now.
The cruise before the cruise, everybody. The cruise before the cruise. Okay, nice. This is the first little area. Watch your step, use the handrails. All right. I don't care.
Thank you. I just didn't want to overrun into you, and then we're just talking for a minute.
There's a window into the tank. You can see a lot of the fish swimming by. It's not a big window, but it's a good way to spend part of a day if you just want to get out of the sun and hang out by their door. Now just coming up, it's very hard to miss this very large white vessel outdoor right-hand side. It's Norwegian Encore, one of the cruise ships that comes into the port of Seattle here during our very short cruising season. We only cruise April through October. Despite that, we're the top 3 busiest ever open-air go-kart track.
What?
Also, that water slide where the clear part of the tube
So
is,
gotta
that's
get on
actually
there now.
outside the boundaries of the ship itself, so as you go across it, you can actually...
So got to get on the wheezing because I want to get on the go-kart track.
I'm a big fan of heights, that would terrify me. The go-kart track, though, that sounds pretty fun. So it's easier to bring the gas to the ship than it is to make the ship go to, say, a fueling pier, park at that pier, wait to be fueled. This way they bring the gas out to them, and while they're cleaning, restocking, and boarding, they're also refueling over the water. It was built in 1962, and if I'm being honest, it was kind of built as a cash grab. It was originally built as a temporary hotel. The owners wanted to house some of the estimated 10 million people that were showing up for the World's Fair in 1962. Turns out they weren't the only construction thing going on in 1962 for the World's Fair, and it's very difficult to build a hotel on a pier. They ran into some delays and cost overruns.
That giant white head looking out at us
right now. That's called Echo. It's named after the Greek nymph. Looks amazing here, like giant proportional marble white head. It is not proportional release. It's a forced perspective sculpture. It's about 45 feet tall and only 10 feet wide. And revival style. Local newspapers and other people who were a little sour on the whole thing started referring to it as Queen Anne Town because all the houses looked the same. The Queen Anne part stuck and Eden Hill became Queen Anne Hill. Just off to our starboard side, there's a couple of nets down there in the water, those big nets attached to the pylons. Those are salmon pens that currently hold about 1 million coho or silver salmon fingerlings.
Oh.
They're being strengthened up there. take the time and the efforts to bring this
Western Dam.
right here and then move it out of this. Just past all the streets south and east of Seattle. They bought this campus in 2017, spent a few years and a large amount of money revamping it for their purposes. They opened the doors to the brand new campus, an amazing view of Elliot Bay and everything. The second week of March, they're back to 78%, give or take, capacity. They also revamped that park in front. One of the things they did when they helped rebuild that was to get full internet connectivity. So their employees go out and parks are getting Western Dam. This is part of a second cruise line here. We get 2 cruise ships here, and when this particular pier was finished being modified to and adapted to hold cruise ships, it was one of the very few cruise ship terminals in the early 2000s with what's known as shore tie, which means shore tie allows cruise ships to come in once they're fully tied up and secured, into the wind. So it'll calm down once we make our other turn, but it's going to be a little bit. Yes, go ahead and go downstairs. You're under no obligation to brave it out here with me. I'm in the lee of the wheelhouse. I feel none of it. Also, if you have cramped hats, be aware that the wind can catch them and take them off, so make sure they're on your head securely. We do not go back for them. I've lost 2 since I started working here, and I know better. All right, so we made our turn, which means we're now going south across the mouth of Elliot Bay. Our most iconic building. It was built in 1962 for that World's Fair I mentioned. It was actually built as the centerpiece for the World's Fair.
Record a video and just zoom in.
The theme of the fair was space and the future. You can see that reflected in the oh-so-futuristic stylings of the needle itself. Now, it was built to inspire architects of the future to do something interesting with skyscrapers. It wasn't meant to be the skyscraper of the future because it's 605 feet tall and only has 5 usable floors, which is kind of Safeco Tower, the box the Space Needle came in, because it's 630 feet tall, 25 feet taller than the Space Needle, and the saucer itself, the dimensions of the building would allow the saucer to actually fit inside. Now currently our tallest building is also down at the south end of the city. It's this black monolithic one with the curved structure just at the very end of the city there. That's the Columbia Center. It's 967 feet tall. Basically calls the owner and says, could you not? We make the building shorter, we don't have to do this whole legal song and dance. To which the owners reply, absolutely. Hang up the phone, call the architects and go, we've got a problem. This building needs to be shorter, the FAA won't let us build it, but we've already leased or sold every one of these 76 floors to somebody else, and we don't get sued for breach of contract, so how can you help us? The architect's solution was rather simple, and the Army Corps of Engineers solution was this island off to our side, Harbor Island. It was finished in 1909 to make mostly of the material dredged up from the canals. It's almost 500 acres now. When it was finished in 1909, it was the largest entirely man-made island on the planet. It can carry just over 6,500 of your standard 40-foot shipping containers, which are your generally any shipping container you see going to be the 40-foot kind. That many containers, if you were to line them up end to end, would be over 50 miles long. They would reach from here all the way down to Tacoma and just past. Wow. It's an amazing amount of containers. Also, for those of you that were listening to me a little bit earlier, you may have heard me say that the tallest building in our skyline is 967 feet tall. This vessel is 1,200 feet long. If you were to stand it on its stern with its bow pointed to the sky, it would be 250 feet taller than the tallest building in our skyline. Now, as we're making our turn, you are able to notice the ship is currently being loaded or unloaded. They do both at the same time. We have one of our gantry cranes, which are these giant white structures perched on the side of the canal here, currently moving containers onto and off of the vessel. One of the best things about doing these tours is getting watch the crane operators operate. Now, one of the fun things about our cranes.
Just get off the harbor tour. Not bad, not bad. You know.
We did the 1 hour.
We did the 1 hour one.
They have a 2 hour.
They have a 2 hour one. And just for informational purposes, it is cashless. So if you want to purchase anything on there, you will need a major credit card or debit card. So yeah, just a little fun little tidbit from See the World. And another little tidbit, depending on the tide, the ramp is going to be pretty steep. So yeah, make sure you have some comfortable walking shoes.